Now, it seems like whenever I make these videos in my bathroom, this is when I get the most raw and truthful and upfront and honest, and dare I say it, maybe even vulnerable. So because of that, stay tuned and be prepared, because I have a story to tell, and this is something that I really hope touches the hearts of every single man who watches this channel. Because if somebody would have gave me these lessons when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I would be way further ahead, and stuff would not had to have been nearly as hard. So stick with me. So this morning, myself and my brother Cole, we were doing one of our raw talks. Our raw talks is like behind the scenes footage of our conversation like that we have together. The reason why I love our raw talks is because we actually like get to sit down and like shoot the shit man to man, and it's just way more free flowing. Like, it's how a conversation, or it's how content actually should be. We broadcast these inside of our Headman Nation community, and my brother asked me a question on dedication and like constructive criticism and thinking, and how a man should operate to get success in life. And this was pretty interesting. It's amazing because the questions that he asks me are always questions that I never think about, and I never think to make videos on them. And this was just super important because it brought up a lot of past feelings and a lot of emotions as I was not only building this YouTube channel, but as I just was navigating my way through life, and kind of how I got to where I am, and how this can help you actually be the man that you were called to be, to help level up your attractiveness, to help you attract, a high quality woman, to help you make more money, to help you be the type of man that I know you want to be. This one's for you. It almost brought a tear to my eye, because when I looked at my external hard drive, there's been over 900 long form videos that I have recorded over the years. 900, okay, of me sitting down and talking about topics that I actually believe in, and topics that actually became true for me. Now, I have a story, okay? So growing up, when I first started, doing this online for you guys, or when I first started actually trying to improve or build something for myself, I remember having like not a lot of friends, okay? Like, I had a couple really close friends, and that's it. And I constantly always would have these thoughts and these feelings and these doubts and these anxieties, because it's like the people who I was surrounded with that were men, I always thought that there was something wrong with me, because I always personally felt like I didn't think the same way as them. Now, as I've gotten older, it's reversed, where they wish that they would have thought the way I was thinking. Instead of me feeling like the outlier, they started to actually see different things. And here's what I mean. I remember always feeling like I wanted to actually make something out of life. Okay, so I was always the guy who I was like, I want to do really well in life, or I'd like to be successful, or I'd like to have, a really beautiful girlfriend. Or I was always super interested in how can we improve attracting women? Like, how can we get better at game? How can we speak the right way? How can we master the language of women? Whatever you want to call it. This is the topics that I was constantly focused on. And I think everything about me as I've gotten older reflects that. The way I look probably reflects that. The type of car that I drive reflects that. The way that I carry myself and the way that I speak. And all of that came down from me not necessarily understanding why I was different or why I thought this way. And honestly, every single day thinking that there was something wrong with me. So this is what I want you to know, is I had the same thoughts and feelings and emotions as you. Is when I would wake up, all throughout my childhood, I would look in the mirror and I'd go, there's something wrong. Like, I'm broken in some way, or I am defective in some way, or there's something I need to fix, or there's something that I need to change. And then all of these questions would always pop through my head. Why is it that I'm the only one who thinks this way? Why is it that out of all of my friend groups and out of all of the men who I know, why is it I'm the only one who asks them to go to the gym? Why don't they ask me to go to the gym? Why is it I'm the only one who says, hey, we should build a business, or we should learn how to do something, or we should try to figure out a way to make more money? Why is it only me? I would always say, why is it me on Friday and Saturday nights who has to suggest throwing a party, going out, trying to talk to girls? Why is it me who's always having to drive the bus when it comes to us actually making something of our life that's quality, and not just sitting around passive and sitting around like doing absolutely nothing? This is how I felt my whole life. I would sit there and I'd scratch my head and I'm like, why are all of these men so content with doing absolutely fucking nothing? It would piss me off. I would constantly think that there's something wrong with me, or I'd tell myself, why are you so, hyperactive in doing something? Or why is it that you want to do this or learn this or be this way? Or why do you want to do better in life? Or why do you care about any of this? And none of my friends would. So then I was like, whoa, is there something wrong with me as a man? It's funny because once you start to make something of yourself, the roles reverse, where then other people around you go, I wish I would have thought that way, or I wish I would have, came to those conclusions, or, did different things. But nevertheless, this is a story that I want to tell you. As I've gotten older, what I actually realized is that majority of all people have no belief. And looking back on my life, I was one of the only ones who actually had belief in myself. It came down to belief. I believed that through enough reps, I could build a great body. I believe that with enough reps, I could build, a channel like this that you guys see today. It took 900 plus long form videos of me making and recording, but I was the only one who had belief to stick it through. And I'm here to tell you that you are not weird for wanting more out of your life. You are not weird for wanting to do better with women. You are not weird for wanting to attract women. You're not weird for wanting to level up your status. You are not weird for wanting to make a lot of money. You're not weird for wanting to be successful. You're not weird for wanting everything that the world can possibly give you if you obtain it. You're not weird for that. My whole life I thought I was weird for that. My whole life I thought that there was something wrong with me, or that I was the only one who thought this way. And as I've gotten older, I started to also realize one thing. I started to realize that a lot more men have dedication to stick through something if somebody tells themselves that they're allowed to. So here's what I mean. Right now, this channel is at over 500,000 subscribers. And when I was younger, this is something that I never thought would have actually happened. I never in a million years thought that anything that I ever built would work. I didn't think that anything that I ever did would ever work. I'm just going to say that. I didn't have a lot of confidence in anything that I did, of belief that it would work. But I had belief in dedication. I had belief that if I just kept going, maybe something would click. If I just kept going, maybe something would happen. If I just kept going, maybe I could obtain or achieve something. So I'm going to explain to you what I did, because this was really painful. This was not a good journey. For 5 years, I sat in a house by myself building this channel, talking to the camera. So I want you to think about the amount of minutes and the amount of hours that essentially, since I'm having to speak to this camera, I want you to think about this for a second. Imagine speaking for that many minutes and hours, all those years to build, whatever the case may be, a channel or whatever, with nobody talking back. So right now, as I'm telling you all this through this camera, I have nobody to have conversation with. I'm essentially talking to you guys through a camera. That is how many times I had to do this. I had to have absolute belief that if I sat in one spot and didn't give up and went through all of the suffering and sacrifice and trials and tribulations and hardship, and I just told myself that if I just stuck through, maybe something would work. That effort and that sacrifice was extremely grueling, and it required all dedication. It required zero motivation. It required me to actually just stick to one thing and just not give up and hope on a prayer that it works. And realize that, there's a chance that stuff might not work if you give it effort, right? There's a chance that you could improve your verbal skills, or there's a chance that you could try to improve your game, or there's a chance that you can even do everything right in an interaction with a woman and she still doesn't like you. Or there's a chance you can try your absolute 100% hardest in business, or you could do everything on that one sales call to close that one prospect, and they still reject you. And that is called life. In life, you only have limited number of heartbeats, and there is a chance that if you put effort and if you put sacrifice into something, it may not pan out and it may not work. But hear me out, because for most, I would say practically for all, there is light at the tunnel if you just don't give up. Now, I'm telling you this because throughout practically my entire life, I always wanted to change myself, meaning I didn't like the way that I think. However, through the years, if you stay dedicated and you actually watch the fruits of your labor pay off, or you watch your dedication habits pay off, or you watch yourself actually grow and get somewhere, you start to actually be so thankful that you do think differently, or you start to become so thankful that you do view the world a certain way, or that you do look at things differently. And because of that, you actually start to trust your gut and your own judgment. What I'm trying to tell you is this. I always thought I was weird for the way I thought, the way that I operated. I thought I was weird for the goals that I have in life. I thought I was weird for the crazy amount of dedication and self-belief that I always had in myself to just keep going and keep trying every single day. I'm here to tell you, do not give up. Not only do I not want you to give up, but I'm here to tell you that it is okay, and I give you permission to think differently. I give you permission to go after what you want. I give you permission that even if you feel like you are different from your friends, or you feel as if you are different from the people in your hometown, or you feel as if that you are different from the people who you are naturally surrounded with because of where you live, based on your current circumstance, I am here to tell you, do not give up, and that it is okay to think differently, because if you just stay dedicated in whatever it is that you do, you can actually get successful. You can actually have success in whatever it is that you want. I don't care if it is women. I don't care if it is the career that you're looking for. I don't care if it is attracting that amazing, beautiful wife one day. I don't care what your goals are. If you push and push and push and you are relentless with it, meaning that you are unapologetic for what you believe in, you believe that it is okay to keep persevering, you believe that it is okay to be stupidly dedicated to just one thing and never listen to the opinions of anybody else, because you see the vision for your own life and where you're headed. I am here to tell you that that is okay. You just cannot give up. The second that you give up is the second that they were right. The second that you give up is the second that they were right, that you did not get to the finish line. The second that you give up is the second that you finally doubted yourself, and that is the day where you actually are putting the opinions of the other people over the opinions of yourself. And what happens is you trust your own judgment less. All of you, and I mean all of you, were born with your own internal success compass, and I personally believe that that was given to you by God. Your job is to use it. As soon as you start using it, you accept that you have purpose and you have value. You just have to show the world your skills. You have to actually be who you want to be. You have to be okay with stepping into that identity of being who you want to be. So as I started to get older, I realized that I wasn't the only person who thought this way, or I wasn't the only man who had similar ideas, thoughts, beliefs as myself. And what gave me confidence to realize that was you guys. It was this channel. It was seeing just how many other guys out there were just like me, or who are just like me, who consumed this type of content and who thought and lived by these almost masculinity principles and actually understood life at a better degree. So because I realized that there is so many of us, we just don't know it, I created my own community. I created my own movement, and I called it Headman Nation. And out of everything that I have ever built in my entire life, this is one of the only things that I have ever looked at that I sat back afterwards and I thought, wow, not only is this going to revitalize masculinity, but this is one hell of a movement. So not only do I invite you to join us, but I invite you to look at life this way, the way that I do. I invite you to realize that it is actually okay to think differently. It is actually okay to view the world differently, and it is actually okay to stay dedicated. I don't care if somebody tells you that you're wild for thinking this way, or this will never work, or the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and goals that you actually have in life. I don't care if your parents tell you it's not going to work, your friends tell you it's not going to work. I don't care if anybody around you in your social circle say that that's stupid, or that's crazy, or that's dumb, or that's not going to work. Don't listen to any of them. What I can tell you is this: I am living proof that if you put your mind to something and you tell yourself, come hell or high water, I will win, you will. That's what this actually comes down to, is self-belief. When I was younger, think how crazy this is. Just think how crazy this is for a second. I was pissed off. Like, I thought there was something wrong with me or something broken with me because I had self-belief. That's just how low self-esteem, low confidence the world is at with men right now. I thought I was the weird one for having belief. In fact, at the time, I wish I could change that about myself, and I wished at one point in life that I was like everybody else. I actually wish that. I wished that I was just like everyone else. As I've gotten older, looking back today, I can't believe I even thought that way. I'm so glad I didn't buy into that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand how serious of a topic this is? You have to understand, there is more of us who think like this than you think. And I can't do this alone. I can't grow this movement by myself, and I can't bring this community together in this brotherhood of like-minded men by myself. I actually need you. So what I did was I made my own community, and guess what? Tomorrow is our very first ever live call, and I called them Coffees with Casey. Every single morning when I wake up, I typically make myself an espresso. And then I sit back and I do my work for the day and whatnot, but I figured a couple times a week I'm going to actually do these with you guys. So tomorrow is our first ever live call, and you're actually going to get to see me in real life talking to people instead of just talking to a screen, if you join us inside of that brotherhood. So I'm here to tell you, don't give up. Don't be mad at yourself for thinking different. Don't think that you can't achieve what you want to achieve, because you can. You just have to not give up, and you have to actually believe that it is possible.